here. Going to make sure that we are live. Wait for a few people to get on in. Pretty sure we are live. But always helps to check. And it looks like we are live. Like I said, I'll wait for a few people to get in here. Going on a little bit early today. Hope y'all don't mind too much. Let's get rid of this. We should have a bit of fun today. Some comments. It was an eventful week, so we will go over the week that was. What's up, Russell? Nice to have you in here. You are first. First in. Right on. I'll wait a couple minutes. We'll let a couple of people get in here. I'm still kind of setting up a few things anyway, so it's all good in the hood, as they say. What do you guys got going on? What's up, Sasquatch? Nice to have you in there. Wait for a couple more people, and then we'll get started. I'm starting a little bit early today. Hope you guys don't mind too much. How was your week, guys? Show tonight. Who do you got on tonight, Sasquatch? I do check out your shows, Sasquatch. I don't always comment like you, but I do check them out from time to time if I catch them. I mean, you can only be pulled so many ways, right, Squatch? I mean, it is what it is. No planned guest. Okay, cool. What's up, Irish? Nice to have you in there. Welcome on in, sir. How you been? We're just going to wait for a couple more people to get on in. I know I started a little bit early, so we'll wait a couple minutes, and then I'll get started with the show proper. A fun, eventful week, so we'll go over all the comments. I've had a few new people comment. I put up shorts. Not my shorts, not, like physical put on my short type thing, but I started experimenting with shorts a little bit, so, Jonathan, welcome on in, sir. Nice to have you here as well. Like I said, we'll wait for a couple more people, and then we'll get started proper. It should be a ton of fun today. Yeah, Irish. I'm gonna comment on that. I don't do reaction videos to stuff like that right away. I need time to process it. But I will comment on that. I am pissed as well, Irish. So I will comment on that in a bit. If you guys notice, like when something major happens, I'm not interested in the clicks and views. So I don't go right away out there, commenting on stuff that I haven't thought about. I like to give myself at least a chance to think about events as they happen. So it's not a thing where, my emotions get the better of me and stuff like that. Fab Daddy, good morning. All right, I think we got enough people in here. We're going to get started, so let me hit you guys with the music. If it wants to cooperate, that is. All right, welcome everybody to the MLH Comment Show for the 28th of January. I can't believe this is the last comment show for January this year. Time flies. It really does. Your comments, Unfiltered, like it says on the screen there. I'm going to go through all of your comments. Welcome in, Caparo. Fab Daddy Irish Rover Jonathan, Caucasian Sasquatch, and Russell Sperry. Thank you guys for being in here. I'm sure there will be more coming soon. Sometimes those notifications don't get out, I've noticed, for a while. I mean, upwards of an hour. And by that time, I mean, the show's pretty much done, right? So let me go ahead and transition on over here and bring up the comments. Hopefully you guys can see them. I'm pretty sure you can. But we're going to start at the bottom here for the last comment show. King Solomon, as always, hell yeah, he says. So thank you very much, Solomon, for going back and watching the comment show last week. George Daly, I put a post about, I was sitting with my dad at karaoke, and I was thinking about his music video that he did. It's on my community page. But I just, threw a quick comment in there. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that video, but it's just a really cool video that my dad did. He's got a really, really good voice. George Daly said, "Dude could sing." Very cool. Not only could he sing, he can sing. He's still alive, still kicking, and still sounding the same. It's really weird. Even after a stroke, my dad can still belt out tunes. So if you get a chance, check it out. He's a world class voice. He's got it. But are you out of here, Caparo? He just came in to do a quick hit. Raymond said on my Sasquatch's Cherokee video, this is one of the shorts that I did. He says, a Denver sting. You could make millions. A Denver sighting, he said. You could make millions off of it. I wished I could. Raymond. But that was a ton of fun to see that little Sasquatch patch on a car, and then underneath it said Cherokee, which I thought was odd. So I thought I'd bring that to everybody's attention. Conspiracy Music. Welcome on in, man. Nice to have you in here. Gimmickless on the same thing said, I had a feeling that was the case, that Sasquatch was Cherokee. Spartacus Maximus says, scratch crotch. I think that's the first time Spartacus has commented, so thank you for the comment. Really do appreciate that. Relaxin' Maxin says, time to end government checks to indigenous peoples. I didn't realize that they were getting government checks, Relaxin', but I don't think it's time to end any subsidies for the natives, man. They went through a lot. Ohio Marine 77 says Cherokee, North Carolina. Well, welcome on in, Ohio Marine. Thanks for commenting. Really do appreciate. Tony Messinger says Sam Squanch is whatever he wants to be. Chuck Norris knows. That's true. Sam Squatch is whatever he wants to be. So there you go. If I missed anybody in chat, I do apologize. I don't think I missed anybody, but if I did, I'll give you a shout out soon enough. Unindoctrinated gave a couple of emojis. It was just a funny little thing I noticed while I was sitting at a red light. K-Dot, same thing. And then we get to, I don't think it was a controversial comment that I put in my community page, but I was talking about how both parties, the Democrats and Republicans, are kind of the same to me. I can't stand either party, kind of thing. I think they're both corrupt and have issues. But Lois actually had a really, really good comment here. He said, we are a nation of people forced to pick the best of the worst, and the difference between the two are so little. Either way, politics is always about self-enrichment and power, no matter who or what they burn. Quote, our Constitution to the ground. Yeah, I agree with you, Lois, 100%. I really do appreciate the comment. It's absolutely true. If there's nothing in it for a politician, then it's not worth it to them. So the only way that we ever get anything as a people here in the United States is if the politicians have something to gain monetarily. that is the problem with capitalism, right? I'm all for free markets and all that stuff, but what has it gotten us to this point, right? I mean, sure, we can point to the things that we have. Like I'm sitting here, I have a PlayStation, I have a TV, I've got stuff, I've got fine art, but really, in the grand scheme of things, what about the homeless people out there? What about the people that have had rough times? I've had my own rough times. I'm sure you guys have as well. Really, we've gotten nowhere with the political system that we have now. We're just little like hamsters on a wheel, and the politicians are sitting there, giving us crumbs, while the elite, the 1%, the people with the billions and the millions, just sit there and laugh at us all the time because they own all of the politicians. I don't care which politician it is. It's all about money and the donor class and stuff of that nature. So I'm really happy, Lois, for that comment, because you have the same thinking that I do. Back to the Sasquatch thing. Jonathan, who's in chat, says, does Mustachioed know about this? That's a good question, Jonathan. I don't know. Gimmickless on my political thing that I wrote on the community page says, the illusion of choice, freedom, and justice has been fading. Truth is coming to light, and it's a matter of when, not if, this all falls apart. That's another thing I agree with, Gimmickless. I honestly think that it's just a matter of time before it all does fall apart. It's getting worse and worse. January 6th, 9/11. You can trace a series of unfortunate events to the point that we are now, and it's just a matter of time before it all crumbles, because I'm telling you guys and gals out there, the less we get, the more angry we are. You know what I mean? And maybe it shouldn't be that way. We should just be happy for what we have and yada, yada, yada. But meanwhile, people with privilege are soaking up all the resources. So eventually, I was reading an article about water the other day, and how the different states are starting to fight about water. And it's funny because Colorado is one of the states that kind of controls water for everybody. We send a lot of water to California, Nevada, Arizona. Utah's in kind of the same position, although we actually have more of the mountains on our state line than Utah. But it's going to get ugly. And water is the one resource that we can't mess around with, because that's a necessity of life, right? So it is what it is. Gregory, welcome on in. Nice to have you in here. Politicians work for corporations more than the people, Fab Daddy says. Couldn't agree with you more, Fab Daddy. And one day I'm going to do a panel strictly about this topic. Like, I know I talk a lot about the corruption of both parties. I hate it. I hate it when I'm in other chats, or even in general, when people are bashing one politician or another because, you're a Republican and, all Democrats are evil, or you're a Democrat and you think all Republicans are evil. It's the stupidest thing. It's exactly what this two-party system was designed to do, is divide the country exactly in half, and that's what we have. There's only small differences in voting. Because, you can't vote for the opposite party because, heaven forbid, a Republican have a good idea. And, but since they're a Republican, you can't vote for them, and vice versa. So, it's a stupid system, and I've always thought about it that way. And, I think it was either, who was it? George Washington or Ben Franklin that said the two-party system is the death of the nation, and I truly believe that. Neslover says, yes, I agree, the game is rigged. They all bow to the same dark master, lock them up. And this was my point. I was listening to somebody cry about Joe Biden when he was vice president, and the documents, right? And it's the stupidest thing, because the whole right-wing media was anti-Joe Biden, which I agree. I mean, I think Joe Biden should be locked up, just like I think Trump should be locked up. And by the way, the hypocrisy runs deep, because the same media that was bashing Joe Biden for his lack of understanding with top secret documents, and saying lock him up, had nothing to say about when Mike Pence had top secret documents at his office. So, I think they all should be locked up. Every one of them. Anybody that's found guilty of, any of that stuff, and it's a crime, then you should be locked up. So that's just my feeling. Gregory, MLH, can I have my wrench back? No, Gregory, not because I don't trust you. I just have a very small group of mods, and I'd like to keep it that way. But I will tell you, I will keep you in mind if I ever need another mod, Gregory. So, Jackstar, any of what stuff? Bigotry? I agree. What are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about, Jackstar. Was it something I said? I don't need a wrench, thanks. Well, I wasn't offering you a wrench, Jackstar. All right, let's move on here. George Daly says we have to change it in regards to, I'm guessing you're talking about the two-party system and the corruption, George Daly. I can't agree with you more. Dana Judd said pretty soon we will be up to dozens of people and everyone will get amnesty with the promise to do better. Yeah, that is true. If you're rich and powerful, you seem to always get amnesty, right? There's never a punishment if you have enough money. So I guess the goal of capitalism is to get as much money as you can so you can be protected. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, right? Afro Man Live said Trump at least had the power to declassify, unlike the other two. You're right, partially, Afro Man. I agree with you. Trump did have the power to declassify, but he was stupid not to declassify before he left office, right? There is a process to that. He's an idiot, and I'm not afraid to say that. A lot of them are idiots. Joe Biden's a complete moron. You know what I'm saying? So it's two sides of the same coin, is what I'm saying, Afro Man. And instead of being on one side or the other, we have to take ourselves out and look from the outside in and say, this is a problem, right? Whether you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, these are issues that we have to address. I'm sick of the, if you don't like the way things are, then vote these people out. Why? So we could get the next jackass that lies. Look at George Santos. Look at a bunch of Democrats that are pieces of shit, like Nancy Pelosi, who's like ancient and finally is getting her fucking ass out of there. I mean, that's another thing. Term limits. How come we can't have term limits for Congress? Right? We have these old-ass politicians, whether you're Republican or Democrat, that have been there since the 1970s or earlier, 90 years old, still in Congress, and have no clue that the world has passed them by, and they have no idea what people actually want. They're stuck to their ideals and their pig-headedness. It's ridiculous. When you were speaking, I heard you say anyone guilty of something, and I don't know what you meant. Oh, no, if you're guilty of a crime, Jackstar, I hope that, I'm only Otto Rohr versus bigotry. You can keep doing your smack. Mexican Lex Luthor? Wow, that's the first time I've ever been called that. You do not hear about the poor, the downtrodden. What are you talking, Jackstar? If anybody knows about the poor and the downtrodden, it's me, because A, I've been there, and B, I mean, Jackstar, let me ask you this question. When is the last time you personally gave a homeless person a bottle of water? Let me ask you that question, and answer truthfully. Anonmouse, welcome on in. I think that borrowing and retaining classified documents is the new 401k for high-level politicians. Yeah, that's a great point, Anonmouse. That's a great point. Um, I will always be on the side of those who have nothing and who are not even left alone by bigots amongst other jackholes to enjoy what little nothing they have in peace. But because I have permission. What? What do you? You're. We're on the same side, Jackstar. We're all poor. You see, we're all pawns in the grand scheme of this chess game that these idiots that are multimillionaires and billionaires are playing. Term limits would definitely solve a lot of problems, Russell. It wouldn't solve all of them, Russell, but it would take care of a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? It would at least throw a wrench into the system, which is a good thing. Um, Make stupid people famous. Welcome to chat. Matthew, welcome to chat as well. Would you like your shit sandwich on white bread or wheat bread? That's exactly correct, Matthew. Rye bread, Fab Daddy said. Ew. Ew. Thanks for the comment, Afro Man Live. I do appreciate you coming in there and taking the time. Channel Transparency says, I feel the same way. All government is corrupt. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Different wings of the same bird. Left wants you to do one thing, and the right one should do another thing. And you know, it always has to be contentious. They can never come to any agreements. It's always, we're going to vote party lines all the way, no matter what, unless it has to do with the donors or their salaries. Have you guys ever noticed that when their salary comes up, 99% of the politicians always vote for a raise for themselves? Kind of funny that, huh? What would happen if the people actually voted on whether or not Congress should get a raise? Don't you think that would be a nice little addition to our democracy? We vote for their raises. I think that should happen too. Sasquatch says, wasn't me, but yes, I have Cherokee descendants. I believe you're trying to say, Sasquatch. Appreciate that. Yep, soup Nazis. I agree. Thanks for the comment, Sasquatch. Bernie says the Dream Team is back in action. This was a video that I recently did with K-Dot. If you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out. This was an interesting video for this reason. K-Dot and I went to the police station and I recorded a static video which turned out to be nothing. Usually when you go to the Aurora Police Department, the ladies at the desk are super helpful. Unless there's a police officer there, then things change. But it was uneventful until we got to City Hall. And this was interesting. I wasn't recording, and I even told K-Dot, I was like, K-Dot, I really... This particular time, I don't feel like recording and making a big spectacle of things. I want to get in there. I want to meet with the deputy city manager, and I want to get out. We had specific reasons why we were there. Strange, welcome to chat. Nice to have you in there. I really did want to get a meeting with the deputy city manager for K-Dot and I, which we had a very specific reason why we were there. We wanted to get an update on the 16-year-old who was searched and his phone was taken away from him. We wanted to find out if he got his phone back, et cetera, et cetera. So we had a reason to be there. We wanted to get an update on that case because people had been bugging K-Dot. So that's why we were there. I wanted to get in, get out. I didn't want any issues. I didn't want any problems. So we get into this building, and I'm not recording. Because and you know what? I know better. I should have just recorded because a lot of interesting things happened there. Well, at least one interesting thing happened there. Security guard decided to get idiotic as usual. So check out that video. You can see. I don't want to, I guess spoil the video, but I started like maybe a quarter in. I really didn't want to record, but he forced my hand. So it is what it is. We move on to King Solomon. Security just itching for trouble. That's exactly right. Solomon, he was definitely itching for trouble. Matthew, who's just got into chat. Good timing, Matthew. Thankfully, his handler showed up just in the nick of time. And if you don't understand what that means, check out the video, because Matthew, you are exactly right. Without his handler, things would have got ugly. And I thought we handled the situation really well. I wasn't boisterous or upset or anything, but I started to get a little nicked, you know. Leslie, on the short version of that video, said private security guards are a form of subterfuge, setting hoops not availed when putting in complaints to public servants and Leos. It will be necessary for someone to eventually proceed with suits for not IDing, etc., to establish gray area higher court case law on these dangerous issues, and illegal signage placed without proper training by these private companies. This is a good point, Leslie, and I 100% agree with you. They see this security guard's big shtick was he wanted us to get a visitor badge and check in and all that. And I put on the thumbnail, we don't need no stinking badges. And even though I didn't say that in there, I don't need a visitor badge to be in that city hall. It's a public place. It should be open to the public, and there should be no papers, please. Type stuff. It definitely reminds you of Nazi Germany, you know. Let's see. Bradley Svi said a bunch of emojis. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. You're a new commenter. TN Accountabilities at 315 KDOT saw something he would have winked at. Good to see you guys. There were a couple of good-looking women that went by TN, so I couldn't agree more. DJ Nate says, keep it up. Thank you very much, DJ Nate. Appreciate that. K-Dot, she probably knew who I was, this guy. That's funny. Thank you, MLH. That was from McDonald. Yeah, see, when the lady came and K-Dot made that comment, you know, she probably knew who I was. And they, you know, everybody knows this there, McDonald. They had briefings on us, both of us. So they know who we are, and it's good to you know, it's good to get that you know, get their juices flowing, you know, and maybe with education they'll just leave us alone next time. Hopefully that's the case. Like I said, I didn't even want to record it, but I ended up having to do. Why do you keep calling me a bigot, Jackstar? I don't understand. There's no drama in here, Jackstar, so don't start anything. The mods will quickly kick you out if you keep antagonizing. So I'm just saying, this is not the place where you can come in and, you know, start shit and expect not to be booted out. All right, I'm not a drama channel, so you know, keep it up. Keep it up and you'll quickly be jettisoned out. The mods know what to do. Channel transparency. Looks like that security guard thinks he's in Nazi Germany. They need to get a visitor's badge and want you to show him your papers for two people just minding your own business. See, that's the thing, channel transparency. When we first walked in the building, I knew it was going to be trouble. But I didn't want to pull out my camera. I didn't, you know, I didn't want to cause that scene, right? I just wanted to get in, get my business done. We had something very specific we needed done, and stuff like this happens, you know. And you're right. It made me feel like we were in Nazi Germany, you know, not current Germany. Unindoctrinated said security is the worst. Yeah, they're they're uneducated for sure. Then I did post. I missed Hot Tub Time Machine this week, and I do apologize for that. But we were getting Bernie's tattoo, so I you know, I had to put a post out on that, why we missed Hot Tub, but it just took too long. We would have done Hot Tub, but you know, I mean, Bernie just got that tattoo and we ran late. So very cool tattoo. Channel transparency says, thank you very much. Jonathan Mazzilli, it would be great if they just left you alone and then call Vince. Yeah, call Vince. That, and if you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you watch that video. It's you know, yeah. See, Fab Daddy is exactly right. I wasn't looking for camera drama at all. Irish, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, No drama here. I mean, everybody knows that. Russell says politicians should take a lie detector test, asking if they care about their country more than themselves. Ooh. See, I'm not a big fan of lie detector tests, Russell, because they can easily be beat. I mean, it's really strange. Like Penn and Teller did an episode on lie detector tests, but these politicians are so dumb. They wouldn't know how to beat the test. Let's see. Fab Daddy says Leatherface over The Shining. I am shocked. Well, my favorite movie, horror movie of all time is The Shining, Fab Daddy. But Bernie's favorite is definitely Texas Chainsaw. So he or she is a Jack Star. Love it, Strange. Gimmickless, hey, welcome on in, man. You are a little bit late, but that's okay. I'm going to extend this out a little bit because I want to comment on the Tyree Nichols situation. I've had a day or two to think about it, and all my initial feelings are justified. All your guys' and gals' feelings are justified as well. Horrible situation that happened with Tyree Nichols. I'm sure by now you guys have all seen the video. The disgusting part is when they're talking about Tyree Nichols. I mean, it's all disgusting, right? I mean, but this is, sadly, this is. Before we get to that, let me see if I have any held for review comments. I haven't. Oh, I do have one. Let's see. Nick, the Ice Pick Rigatoni, said, funny, I remember when I was in the Army, guys getting busted down in rank for unsecured documents. They took that shit seriously. Thank you, Nick. I approve that comment. Let's go back and let me give you this treatment. The reason that was held for review is because I have all the naughty words blocked, or so I can look at them. But yeah, I do appreciate the comment, Nick. I mean, it's true. I mean, if one of us were to have had those documents, then it would have not been good. We would have been in jail, etc., etc. Let's see. Why do you think they released the video on Friday night? Oh, that's an easy one, Fab Daddy, because the weekend people usually are busy, right? But that doesn't mean that certain people aren't paying attention. They did that to lessen the blow, but it didn't lessen it. In fact, people have more time on the weekends to mull over and think about these things, i.e. me. So, disgusting is the first word that comes to mind. They always say not all cops are bad. Well, where were the good ones? See, Irish Rover, this is a good point, because I'm telling you guys, like when somebody tells me not all cops are bad, that in a broad scope of things, of course that statement is true, but you know how some people say, well, it's just a few bad apples that are ruining the bunch. But the point is, it's the opposite. You've got a bunch of bad cops and maybe sprinkled in here or there a few good cops, right? Those quote-unquote good cops are the ones standing on the sidelines watching while Tyree Nichols gets the shit kicked out of him, or they participate because they feel their fellow blue line brother is getting his ass kicked, or got grazed with a punch or something, and then they decide that they have to get involved. No, it's not the most dangerous job in the world. As a matter of fact, it's not even in the top 20 of the most dangerous jobs in the anymore. It's I believe it's the 22nd and falling very rapidly, because even though like states like Colorado and New York don't have qualified immunity anymore, plenty of states still do. So these cops go in very arrogantly and do things their way, the way that they want to, because they know that there are no repercussions. Now, I know in this case the officers did get charged with, I believe, capital murder. But do any of us actually think that these officers are going to get any sort of punishment? I mean, get real. The good ones leak info. Yeah, that's true. Gimmickless, but few and far between. Yeah, Russell, you remember that episode. Right on, man. I love that series. Everybody should watch the Penn and Teller bullshit series because there's a lot of things that they go over. Matthew says that's the same reason businesses lay off people on Friday. Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Strictly says the 2 places I got laid off, they did it when you least expected. Yeah. So they're bad too. Irish Rover says, Fab Daddy says, listening to them gloat after the beating is very telling. Yes, and that's why videos like this are important, Fab Daddy. You know, KDOT and I are probably going to have a panel on this at some point, but I always, when a lot of these type of things come out, the initial reaction is outrage, obviously, right? But I always like to take time to think about it. That way my emotions don't ruin my thinking. And I'm here to tell you guys that my initial reaction, just like yours, are absolutely correct. We all should be outraged. I don't care if it was a black guy, a white guy, a brown guy, a yellow guy, a red guy, a purple guy, whatever, or woman, whatever. We all should be outraged at this. And then there was a statement by a police officer, I believe it was the chief of police. Before we release this video, we urge you guys not to act out in violence. And I thought about that statement too, and I'm like, okay, so you want us to be calm, cool, and collective in the face of you guys doing the opposite. Right, I get it now. I get it. I get why you guys feel that way. It's just ridiculous for them to think that we weren't going to be upset after seeing that video. Just one bad apple will spoil the whole bunch. Imagine how spoiled the bunch gets when there's a few bad apples. 100, Jonathan. Gang mentality, Fab Daddy says, you know what, KDOT and I can't remember where we were, but if we were on a panel, I don't think we were on a panel. Maybe we were just having conversation. I can't divulge who we were talking to, but we were talking to somebody, and KDOT brought up the point that the police are the biggest gang in the United States. And that sounds weird, right, to think about that? But think about it. What do gangs do? They bully, they intimidate, they steal, they do all kinds of manner of things that are illegal. And the cops do all of these things. They are the biggest gangs in the United States. It's true. You could talk about MS-13 till you're blue in the face, but they are not nearly as powerful as the police are in this country. You're wishing for a perfect world, Gimmickless. No, I'm not. I'm wishing for a better world, not perfect. Matthew says one officer can be heard on video saying, I'm going to baton the fuck out of you. Yes. Let's see, what else? Go along. Welcome on in. Nice to have you in here. Still looking for a purple woman. Watch Star Trek, Russell. Plenty of purple women there. So the initial reactions were of shock, awe, anger, disgust, anything you can come up with, any superlative that you can come up with. But they're justified in this case. It's like the first time I saw the Rodney King video, right? Disgusting. Why should a man have taken that much of a beating? I mean, regardless of what happened. Another video that was super ridiculous that, one of my headphones went out here, so I'm having trouble hearing things. But anyways, what's up, Little Ridge Farm? Nice to have you in here. Oh, it was directed at Jonathan. I gotcha. Yeah, I know, man. It's just strange. Russell becomes a mortician. Purple women. You find a bunch of purple women at a mortuary, right? Right, Fab Daddy? What's up, What's Truth? Nice to have you in here. I'm just discussing the Tyree Nichols case and how my initial feelings are justified. You know, I advise you guys, anytime you guys see or hear anything that on the surface is shocking, to take a day to think about it, and maybe more facts come in. But the more facts that come in on this case, the more crappier I feel about the whole thing, you know. So I don't know, this is one of those things where most people's initial reactions is the absolute correct one. I want an honorable world too, Jonathan. I mean, I really do. I mean, it may, you know, at this point it may be too late, Jonathan. I mean, we discussed the politics thing, and because we're so divided as a nation, just basically based on you know, whether someone's a Republican or a Democrat, it's super ridiculous. If we were all to get into a room, we are all different, right? We all have different, you know, feelings, different emotions, different things, but we're all human. We all feel the same way. And I like to believe that there are more good people in the world than there are bad. And matter of fact, I know that's the case, because we wouldn't be here as, you know, we are, without most people being good intentioned, you know. So you know, I'd like to throw away political parties, period, or at least dilute the two political parties that we have with a bunch of political parties. I know in England they have, like, what is it, 5 or 6 or 7? I mean, I'm not up on English politics, but that's a much better system. You get more views, you get, you know, more ideas that way. You know, if you're just stuck within, I mean, how many times have you seen somebody go into a political party, whether it be Democratic or Republican, and they talk a good game, and the minute they get in there, they're either censored by the party, you know, and can't speak their mind, or, you know, they assimilate and they become different than what you voted them in for. I hate it. It's disgusting. It's the worst. It's the worst in society. You know, every vote counts. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Does it really? Does your vote count? Because I don't think it does, unless it's local ordinances, which in the grand scheme matter nothing to, you know, the greater good. I mean, It really doesn't matter. Does your vote matter? Okay, I voted for Joe Biden. Woo! Okay, now he's the president. He's still corrupt as he was in 1970. Yippity-doo. Oh, I voted for Trump. He's still the corrupt piece of shit that still wants 5 innocent people killed. You know, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. These people are absolutely ridiculous. Harry Nuts, welcome on into chat, sir. Creole. Welcome into chat as well. I'm surprised the video was released this soon. In 2019, Ronald Green was beaten to death by 4 Louisiana state troopers and a Union Parish deputy. Was covered up until 2022 when the body cam footage was leaked. I am actually really surprised too, as well, Creole. It is surprising to see that this footage was released so quick. I think they just wanted to rip the scab off because they knew, Creole. Can you imagine 2 years of pent-up anger? I mean, everybody knew, based on what was going around verbally, what happened, and you could only imagine, and it's even worse than what we imagined, right? So it's really tough, man. It's a tough situation, but after, you know, a couple of days or a day of thinking about it, I'm still as pissed. I'm still as pissed as when I first heard about the story. And it's even worse. It's even worse. You hear a story, police beat man, and it's like, okay, another one, right? It's happened again. And then you see the video, and it's even worse than what you imagined, right? Couldn't be much worse. Gimmickless says they ultimately use the college electoral vote every time. Exactly, Gimmickless. Like, it really doesn't matter. And that's another thing. Electoral college is absolutely outdated and needs to be redone. Jonathan says perfection is a trait sought by the Borg. 100. Yeah, you're right. Go Along says we only talk about the content of their promises, but never talk about when they break them. Well, we do, Go Along, but they don't care because they've already made it. Look, the average salary, I think the average salary of a low-level politician is like $150,000. Plus, that's not to mention all the dark money that they get, all the donor class money that they get. Here's $10,000. It's legalized bribes. That's the other thing. This is something really weird. I'm not a big fan of Matt Gaetz, right? He's a piece of shit, in my opinion. They all are. Name them. But something that Matt Gaetz has been saying for the longest is he wants to try to get money out of politics. That is something that I can get 100% behind. I don't think any corporation should be allowed to donate tens of thousands of dollars, in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars, to a campaign, to a politician at all. I think they should have exactly equal saying power as any average citizen, right? They're not people. Even though in the law they're considered, corporations are considered people, by the way. I didn't know if you knew that. But if that's the case, then be equal with the people. If the maximum donation a person can give is $500, that's what you should be allowed to give. You see what I'm saying? So I hate it. I hate the way that things are done right now. Politics is only ever two sides, but they're both corporate driven and ruled. Matt Wolford, you are 100. You win the internet today. Fab Daddy says $5 max per person donation per election. I mean, you could say $500, Fab Daddy. I mean, 500 in the grand scheme of things is pretty much nothing. But hey, I'll go with that. $5. I agree. $5. That's the max you can donate to anyone. If you want to donate multiple, like for different candidates, I'm down with that. $5 sounds reasonable to me. Go Along says, and that would put power even in a homeless person's hands, right, Fab Daddy? I like this way of thinking, because even a homeless person can beg for a day and get $5, right? So maybe they want to make change, and they all get together and they say, we're all collectively going to give $5 to this candidate locally. And I agree with you, Fab Daddy. The more I think about it, I like the $5 plan. Go Along says, when you're voting for either Republican or Democrat, you're just getting a different manager for the same company. Yes, Go Along, yes. One Big Heart, welcome on into chat. Yes, MLH, everything you say, plus all the lobby and special interest groups. All of them should be abolished. I hate it. It's legalized bribes is what it is. Gimmickless says, I remember when the memes came out that every politician should wear suits similar to race car drivers, and every corporation on the suit that gave money to support them. I thought that was great. That's a great point, Gimmickless. I mean, if we can't get the Fab Daddy idea of maximum of $5 no matter who you are, let's put them all in race suits with their corporate sponsors on there. I mean, we could do the research ourselves, but don't you think that the average American constituent wouldn't want to know who sponsors them? Pfizer, Walmart, Amazon. You guys realize that Amazon paid no taxes last year? As a matter of fact, they got a refund. So you guys are paying for Amazon to do their thing. And Walmart got a refund as well. FedEx was another one. Name the big multi-billion-dollar corporations, and they're getting money back. They don't pay a fraction of what we pay in taxes. I've always been a big proponent for flat tax for everybody. I don't want there to be exceptions and loopholes and all this bullshit. I think everybody should be federally taxed a certain rate, and that's it. It doesn't matter what tax bracket you're in. If you're a billionaire, you should pay whatever the percentage is that somebody making 30, 40, 50,000 a year should make. Don't you guys think that's fair? I don't believe in exceptions. I don't believe that a millionaire should be able to claim, all my clothes are business expenses. It's bullshit. I don't believe that the government should give subsidies to companies and exceptions to the rule. If you're a corporation, you make a certain amount of money, it should be the same for everybody. You pay the same amount of taxes whether you're low on the totem pole or at the very top of the totem pole. So if you're Amazon, if the rate is 10, 20%, whatever the flat tax rate is, that works for me. If you're going to tax me, whatever it is, then that the people at the top should be taxed the same, no exceptions. And that also would help the IRS, because then you don't have these long, convoluted fucking tax forms of, what deductions. Oh, did I donate to charity? What is the point? That's something that always bothered me too. You donate to charity and you want to get a receipt so you can get money back on that? That's not how it works. Donate because you want to donate. I don't know. Jesus. Microsoft is another one, Matt. Wolford says, love from Labour and Liberal ruled Australia. Yeah. Yeah, we can see who owns them, Jonathan. That's exactly right. Irish says, you couldn't make a suit big enough. That's true, too. Fab Daddy says, corporations draft the laws for our politicians. That's 100%. Howard County, welcome on in. Nice to have you in here. One Big Heart says, corporate loopholes are ridiculous. I couldn't agree with you more. And we even subsidize the shipping costs for Chinese manufacturers, Matthew says. Yep. There you go. See, that's the thing about this country. We no longer export anything. We don't export anything. What do we export? I'll wait for somebody in chat to tell me what we export. We don't export anything. We import everything. And that's another thing. I'm all for a world economy. Like, I want to include other countries. I think that's the diplomatic thing to do, but they should pay the same taxes that we do. I mean, if we're getting down to it, but it always comes down to us, right? We always got to cover the cost of these subsidies. I agree with you, Matt. Tax corporate exceptions are worldwide. It's disgusting. I agree, Matt, 100%. It's disgusting how much money that they, quote unquote, get subsidized and corporate exceptions and all that shit. 100, man. Stupid. Grain. We export our tax dollars. Yes, Irish. That's a great point. Let's see. What am I missing here? Howard County. Okay. Yep. We export our money. That's the thing. We import everything. We import our clothes. Look at your shoes. Where were they made? Look at the movies that you watch. Where was the case made? I guarantee it wasn't made here in the United States, even though the movie was made here. Look at the oil. We have more oil in the United States than most countries, and we import oil at a disgusting rate. I actually think we should get away from oil. The Saudis own everything. There was a soccer player, Ronaldo. I don't know if there's any soccer fans out there. I'm not huge on soccer. I'm more of a American football guy. But this soccer player signed a 2.5-year deal for $500 million. He's making $200 million for 1 year's worth of work. 1 year's worth of work. It's disgusting. Matthew says, we used to send cargo ships back to China filled with recyclables, but China stopped taking our garbage. I wonder what they ship back now. Well, see, the recyclables, that's another thing, Matthew. This recycle thing kind of kills me because, especially with plastic recycling, plastic is not recycled. What we do is, we'll put we think we're doing the right thing by recycling, right? Most things can be recycled. like paper, for instance, and oil, and that's why, like, you take your oil to an AutoZone and they'll take it for free because they make money off of recycling it. They'll refine it and put it back out into whatever. But like clothes can be recycled, cotton. I mean, there's like a myriad of things that can be recycled. But when it comes to plastic, they separate the plastic out, and you're right, they send it in, and they still do this, by the way, Matthew. They'll send it to another country. I don't think it's China anymore for the reasons that you outlined. I think it's like India. And then what the Indians do is they take that plastic, and they'll sort through all the plastics, and the very few things that can be recycled, they sell to be recycled. And then the rest of it just gets dumped into either the sea or to a landfill. So it's just really ridiculous. Export our fast food. That's something we definitely we didn't really export it, but we franchised it. That's one thing we did. 10 biggest exporting industries in the U.S.: oil drilling and gas extraction in the U.S., petroleum refining in the U. We do refine it here, Jonathan. Brand name pharmaceutical yeah, it's another good point. Natural gas, yeah, organic. We get a lot of natural gas from Russia and other places. Organic chemical manufacturing, yeah, we do that because it's a lot cheaper to do it here than to import it. Plastic and resin, yeah, see, I mean, it's all stuff that's toxic and bad. Little Ridge says it's disgusting. I totally agree. Howard County, no lose and feed here, just the age. Okay, I don't know what that means. No loss. Okay, that's really weird that the H was lost. Hopefully it changed. Gimmickless says everything else costs more time and energy than it's worth to make. That's right too. I think, look, I know if you're a Republican, you're a big gas and oil person. Normally, that's how it goes, right? But in my view, even if you take the environmental impact of carbon dioxide and monoxide and all the chemicals that are done there, there's other considerations when it comes to going solar. It's much more efficient and cheaper. And it would be cheaper for all of us if we all could get on board, and the cars would, the car manufacturers would make vehicles that could go, 2,000 miles on a single charge or something of that nature. Then, we all would be in better shape for it because we wouldn't have to be tied to the pump. And pay these outrageous prices. We always bitch about whatever president is in office, we always blame for oil prices, right? Well, why don't we get away from that? And we all have vehicles that are just as powerful that run on solar energy. So we don't even have to be tied to the electrical grid. I mean, Toyota is right now producing the new Prius, which is way different and better in a lot of respects or whatever, but they're doing something kind of innovative. They're putting solar panels, and of course it costs extra, but they're putting solar panels on their roofs. If we could find a way to put solar panels on the entirety of the vehicle and it ran purely on solar energy, imagine the implications of that. Imagine that we don't have to pay the government any extra taxes on electricity or gas. I mean, that would free up a lot of our money to do other things with, right? How much money do you guys spend on gas? I can't imagine an SUV. I mean, I have a Prius, and I get about 40 miles to the gallon, which on average is better than most. And I put like $15-20 in my tank, and I'm good for a couple weeks. You see what I'm saying? So what if I didn't have to do that? I could save that $15-20 every 2 weeks or every week, and I could do other things with it. Anything but spending my money and time at the pump, Let's see. In China, the very poor burn plastic to heat water. Yeah, that's a bad idea to burn plastic. that Penn and Teller had a great episode on recycling. Russell, you're right, but they did retract a lot of that, Russell, on that particular episode, because it is a proven fact that recycling does work. Like in general, you what you put in, you get back. It's like an equal exchange, with all the manpower, the gas that's used, etc. To, like in the vehicles to, get. But like I was saying, if we could go solar on everything, then we wouldn't have to worry about that, and then recycling would become way more efficient. And the same thing with the factories. If we stop using, for instance, coal or nuclear power at nuclear facilities and started using solar, it would be much better all the way around, especially in our pockets. Ajot, what's up? Nice to have you in there, sexy little vixen you. Let's see. There's not as many refineries. Yeah, there's not as many. It's getting better and better, but electricity is much more efficient. I just think solar is the way to go. They did research on putting solar panels on a vehicle already. You can't get enough solar panels on a vehicle to actually support. Yeah, you're right, Gimmickless, but it's getting better and better and more efficient. And the future is in microcarbon particles. So, there will be a time when that's viable. I agree with you right now. The technology is not there quite yet, but it's getting close. And this new fusion breakthrough that they announced is going to help a lot as well. So things are coming. They're just not coming fast enough. I wouldn't want to get in a wreck in a car built out of solar panels. Why, Irish? I mean, solar panels they're not going to blow up like a hydrogen or gas. I mean, you don't feel bad getting into a car with gas. I mean, gas is extremely flammable, but how many cars actually blow up? I mean, it's minuscule. It does happen, but I mean, I wouldn't feel bad getting into a car with solar panels at all. There's no combustible material. Howard County says we have the ability to build nuclear and completely safe power grid for this country. It will cost a lot. Yeah, I know. Nuclear is a viable option. I'd much rather do solar. Once the technology gets there, then that's the way of the future. Teresa, nice to have you in there. Let's see what else we got here. I love me some hairy nuts. John says, I love hairy nuts too. He's such a good dude. Aluminum cans, especially. Yeah, aluminum can definitely be recycled, no doubt. Human life is more important than corporate profit. We should be flying around by now. Cars are unprofitable unless sold every year for stock shares as computers, mobiles, etc. Yeah, Matt, I agree with you, man. 100%. It's all profit motivated. I wish we could get away from the profit motivation, but capitalism doesn't allow it, man. And as a matter of fact, if you're a company, it's in law that you have to make profit. So, I mean, everybody's driven by profit. It's like, it's crazy. Buying in glass containers was great, 100% recycled. Plastic, not so much. Yes, I agree, Harry. Plastic can be recycled, but man, the process of recycling plastic is so tedious and not energy efficient, as we've said. Getting a car with solar panels would add more reinforcement. Yeah, more reinforcement's always good. Solar is good, takes up a lot of space and needs constant maintenance, though. Could work, maybe. Yeah, it's going to take time, Howard County. There was a movie. And I can't remember it was a science fiction movie, but it was about this guy that had an implant in his brain, but it was common to get into a car that was solar driven, and they were like, the whole car was covered in solar panels that you really couldn't see, but it would absorb the sun, and you didn't need to go to a pump, you didn't need to plug it in, nothing. It was just powered by the sun. A lot of recycling is good, but plastic definitely sucks. I agree, Russell. Plastic sucks. My dad was a foreman on the biggest PV solar plant west of the Mississippi at the time, California Valley Solar Ranch, Carrizo Plain, California. Yeah, I mean, solar's viable. It's just they have to get the solar panels shrunk down to put the same amount of energy back, and then but there's other options. There's wind options. That there's even been thoughts of like putting along with solar and some other things like as you're driving, the wind that gets forced into your car produces energy, which would be really, really nice. We shouldn't be flying around by now. Look at how many people still get into wrecks with regular cars. I mean, yeah. I understand what you're saying, but I do agree. Like we really should be like having because the congestion on the road is ridiculous. But I agree with you. There'd be accidents. The same thing, unless we're talking about self-driven stuff, which still needs to be worked out. I know Tesla's had a bad run with self-driven cars, but I kind of like the idea of being able to get into a car and just having it take you without having to drive. I mean, think of long trips, and even think of like big rigs and how like they have laws against like driving so many hours. Like you wouldn't have to worry about it. You just send your car on its way and it would do its thing. If we could get the AI right on that, I think it would be a good thing. Tesla batteries have a 150,000 mile lifespan and cost $15,000 to replace. That's correct, Harry. Toyota's a lot different, a lot better. Toyota seems to be ahead of the curve when it comes to electric batteries, and that's just because of the experience that they have. It cost about, I think, $4,000 or $5,000 to replace. It cost $4,000 because I replaced my battery for $4,000 a long time ago. But Teslas are no bueno. The battery life on a Toyota battery, I believe, is like 250,000, which is pretty good. That's acceptable. New Zealand here, plastic bags are banned, so are plastic plates, knives, and forks. Our government trying to ban all plastic. That's great. That's actually really good. And I was a little annoyed here in Denver, Leisha, because they banned all plastic bags from all the Walmart stores in Denver. And at first I was really annoyed. I'm like, God damn it. It's so convenient to have these plastic bags. And then I thought about it and I was like, it's not a bad idea. It doesn't cost, it cost me 75 cents to buy one of those stupid, bags. I just leave them in my car and I go in and I shop. I put my stuff in there and, I don't have to use plastic bags. It's not a big deal. And they're my bags, so, I own them. So, obviously they'll get torn up at some point and, but they're recyclable and, just put them in the recycle bin, buy another 75-cent bag that lasts you however long it lasts, even if it's 6 months, it's worth it. So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, straws too. I'm a big fan of buying your own metal straws and just using those, but I need to buy me some, speaking of. I lost mine. Y'all gonna get yuck mouth. No plastic toothbrushes. Well, there's other alternatives, Fab Daddy, but like stuff like that, obviously, but those are things that we can work on. We can work on stuff. Mercedes has a Blue Tech diesel motor that gets 75 miles to the gallon and will not ship to the U.S. Yep, that's true too, Harry. Diesel's a lot cleaner for the environment too. I don't understand why there aren't more diesel vehicles on the road. I wish we could get away from all of it, but it's just not the world we live in right now. What will we do when even more labor eventually is taken over by automation? Jobs will be cut as AI does our jobs for us even better than we can do those jobs. That's true too, Howard County. I was thinking about this too. Even if you go into a McDonald's, they don't have front counter people anymore. You have to order all your stuff on these big giant screens, and then the people in the back make it. But what happens when those people... And McDonald's will be at the forefront of all of this, by the way. But they're eventually going to have robots that do the burgers, and it's an advantage for us because how many times have you been to a fast food joint where your stuff was messed up? There never will be any mistakes as long as you input the right information. The AI is going to do it the right way, right? And you'll always have consistency. Unless something goes awry with the machinery or something. That's that's stuff that, I mean, there's always going to be people to be able to fix whatever wrongs are out there. But I agree with you. Automation is gonna cause a lot of problems. We have to start figuring out different things that we can do for ourselves. But yeah, automation's a big thing. Hemp fiber is great. Can make so many things with hemp fiber. I agree, Big Heart. I mean, even back in the day, they used to make rope and clothes and all kinds of things with hemp. Cars can run on Coca-Cola. That's true, Matt. Cars can run on a lot of things. Water, hydrogen. Hydrogen's another thing to look at. The only problem with the hydrogen is the volatility, but they're close to getting that done too. Let's see, what else? During World War II, USA grew hemp to make rope for the war. Yes, that's true. Have you seen the price of diesel compared to regular gas? Yeah, it's more expensive now. It didn't used to be the case. I mean, it's about equal now, isn't it? I mean, I can't remember last time I looked, but back in the day, diesel was way more expensive than unleaded or regular. And then they got rid of regular, thankfully. And I remember like diesel at one point was cheaper, and I don't know the prices now if it's more expensive or cheaper. I haven't really paid attention, to be honest with you. Wow, just under $6 a gallon in California. Yeesh. Humans often add too much of costly ingredients. Yeah. It's like, okay, when you go to Taco Bell and you ask for, I don't ever recommend going to Taco Bell, by the way, but if you eat there and you ask for hot sauce, they put like 30 sauces, and maybe you only need like 2. It's like, I don't know. There's so many things wrong, but there's advantages to having automation and there's disadvantages. You pointed out the disadvantage. It's definitely going to take more and more people's jobs for sure. Hemp was demolished by a corporate takeover by the cotton industry. Yep, that is true too. When you burn plastic and distill the smoke, you get diesel. Yeah. Biodiesel is a joke. Don't tell Willie Nelson. Diesel should cost less because it's less processed petroleum product. To me, it's price fixing. It could be. I mean, I don't know enough about the subject to comment on it, but All right, let's see if I have any mentions here, guys. Let's wrap this up. I've been taking too much of your time. 1 week ago, Ajot, who was in chat, tagged me in a video. What was this video? Will you? I have no idea what this short. Oh, it's your short. I did see this short, Ajot. Shangy Girl posted the hot tub time machine. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. K-Dot mentioned me in the video that we did, and I highly encourage you guys to check out that video, man. It's I really didn't want to record the video, to be honest with you guys. I really wanted to get in, get out, and you guys saw the video. It's if you haven't, check it out. It's called MLH and K-Dot versus security. Guess who wins that one? Howard County. I get mad at Taco Bell when they give me all that sauce. I put it back on the window sometimes. Yeah, it's like sometimes it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, you keep some of it, right? I mean, I would keep some of it in my fridge, just whatever. Fab Daddy says, great conversation, MLH and chat. I had fun. I appreciate that you had fun, Fab Daddy. That's the point of this. Somebody asked me, why do you do the comment show? It's kind of dumb. And I'm like, no, it's really not if you think about it. It was a very calculated thing on my part. The way the comment show started was I was commenting on everybody's comments. I would type to everybody. I wouldn't even hesitate. And it would take up a lot of my time, and my hands would hurt after a while. I mean, I would get a lot of comments. You guys are awesome. I mean, you would comment, and I would respond. And I thought, how could I do this? How could I do this and still interact with you guys and reply to you guys? And this was the what I came up with, and nobody else really does this. So it was something that was unique and something that I could do for you guys to kind of make everybody happy. So, my fridge is already full of tacos. That's 100, Howard. I get you. You're the bomb, MLH. Love from Adelaide, Australia. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it. I got a lot of people that listen in Australia, and shout out to you guys. Australia is one of the places, either Australia or New Zealand. I know you guys have a rivalry, but one of those two places is where I ultimately want to end up retiring. I don't want to. I want to leave the United States at some point, and those two places are lovely places and look really pretty and beautiful, and I'd really love to live there. Have a great weekend, all, making homemade taco rice. Make sure and go to Taco Bell and get extra sauce, one big heart. All right, that's going to do it for us this week, guys. I really appreciate you guys' ongoing support. If you haven't subscribed to, I know most of you are, but if you're not subscribed to DJ K-Dot, the party, K-Dot, subscribe. He's very close to hitting that 10,000 mark. And it couldn't have happened to a better dude. And you'll be seeing me with K-Dot quite often. He's the only guy here in Denver I want to hang out with anymore. There's too much other drama and bullshit with everybody else. I'd rather the drama just be on my camera and not behind the scenes or, with other stuff going on. So make sure you sub to K-Dot. He's awesome, and he's well on his way to being the big dog in Denver, which I already think he is anyways. I think you can currently move to Spain if you have 40K. Spain's a little too expensive for me, Matthew, and not as pretty as Australia or New Zealand. So thank you, Harry, for putting K-Dot's link in there. If you guys haven't subbed, please sub to K-Dot. It would be awesome. Anyways, let's see. New Zealand looks amazing. I cracked my phone screen and I can barely send. Oh, that sucks, Russell. Get that fixed, man. It's not too expensive depending on what phone it is, But look on Craigslist. A lot of people can do those repairs for a lot cheaper than, say, at the mall or whatever. No freedom of speech, Matt Wolford. That's disappointing. We have no free speech? Really, man? That sucks, man. I don't know if I'd move there then, because I'm a big mouth. Maybe New Zealand then. I don't know if they have. I'm pretty sure they have free speech there. Okay. Anyways, thanks each and every one of you guys for joining this week. Make sure you join. This week the agenda is as follows. I'm gonna go get food for the homeless today. I don't know if I'm gonna put that one on video. What else do I got planned this week? You can expect me and K-Dot to get together and do some cop watching and other shenanigans. Hot Tub will be returning this Thursday. Like I said, we didn't do it last Thursday because Bernie was getting a tattoo, which you can see on the community page if you haven't already. What else? So that's about it for this week. But I'm sure there'll be other stuff during the week. Just make sure you keep your notifications on. And if you're not getting notifications, unsub and resub, and sometimes that helps reset those notifications. Make sure you click the notifications, all that good fun stuff, make sure it's on, all that stuff. But, King Solomon, welcome in at the end, man. Appreciate you. All right. I think that's about it for me. I really appreciate all you and the support and the love. I really do appreciate it. That's about it. Make sure you stay safe. Be kind to others. Be kind to your family. But most importantly, be kind to yourself. Later, everybody.